Hi Tanvi, welcome to your podcast.
Thank you.
You're here finally.
Thanks, Addy. Okay, quick introduction for those who don't know Aditi Chauhan. She is a close friend of mine, a footballer. She is a national team goalkeeper and also the proud founder of She Kicks, which we will also get into later. And she's also
Very
a presenter.
Tanvi, you've done your research on me.
Hey, shut up, man. But yeah, she's also a presenter. She is a commentator. She's making an impact on the field and off the field. So I couldn't have thought of someone better for our second episode of Sisters Got Game. Okay, Addy, were you just looking at the time?
No, I'm getting a call.
Oh shit, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we get started?
Yes, please.
So,
Let's do it.
you're currently in rehab because you had an injury.
Yes, injury rehab.
Injury rehab. yes, injury rehab. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
And can you tell us what happened? What caused the injury? And I believe this is your second major
Yeah.
injury in your career so far.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious to know the mental and emotional space that you're in to sort of take you through, stay positive through the injury, because obviously it is an inevitable part of any athlete's journey at some point or the other. So yes, take us through the inside.
Yeah, I mean, this is my second ACL injury. I got my first when I was playing for West Ham in the UK. That was also a big shocker, and I remember, I had this whole life planned out. So I was playing for West Ham. I was in my second season with West Ham, and I was supposed to fly back to India to join the national team for an Olympic qualifier, I think it was. And I got this injury 2 days before I was supposed to fly to India. On Sunday, I was supposed to fly on Tuesday. On Sunday, I got this injury, but at that point, I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was something minor, and I can be back soon. But when I got to India, we got the MRI done, and the physio came into my room, and he told me that it's an ACL injury, and I've basically torn the entire ligament, and I have to get a surgery which will keep me out for 9 months, which is the usual rehab period for ACL. And obviously I remember, like, I'm not a very emotional person, you know that.
Yeah.
But for next 3 days I was just literally crying, because I'd planned that once I come back from the national team assignment, I will try for higher division clubs, because I was not on student visa anymore, so I could play for professional clubs.
Nice.
So I planned everything, and when I was made aware about the injury, I thought my career was over, because no one before me had come back from an ACL injury to the national team.
Right.
No woman.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was possible, because playing football was my whole identity. Being the national team player was the whole identity.
Yeah.
And that's how I saw it, at least at that time.
Yeah.
So
This was around 2000.
This was in 2017.
17. Okay.
2017.
Right.
And so yeah, I thought my career was over. I didn't know who I was if I wasn't playing football, because I just completed my studies. I wasn't really employed anywhere. But the only thing that I knew was the love for sports was real, and for football was real, and that's what I wanted to do, even if I didn't play football. So that was a very emotional period. You as a player, you're training around full year, right? You're just playing. That's your whole mindset. You're training off the field as well for building your physique, your strength, everything, to be ready for matches. And when that is taken away, you're basically sitting at home. You can't really do anything for at least for the initial few months. So yeah, I was just trying to figure out how do I what do I do, what's next for me. And while I was going through my rehab, got the surgery done and everything, of course a huge role and a lot of the credit for me to come back goes to my family, especially my mom. She never gave up. I mean, when I was even this time it was again the same kind of emotions that you go through. But very, very fortunate that I have a very supportive family who knows put me in the right track, put me in the right frame of mind. So of course, as an athlete, I feel it's the most challenging part of your career. Of course, the hard work and everything, because you're doing something that you love, you don't really pay too much attention to that. But when that is taken away, it is a huge emotional setback. Yeah, I stayed positive, tried to overcome all of that. But while I was doing the rehab, my whole mindset was that no one else has done it, and since I had the exposure of West Ham, of the UK, I knew that girls or women have done it abroad. It's possible. And I wanted to do that here in India, set an example that an injury like this cannot define you or does not mean the end of your career. You following a proper rehab, having the right guidance, can help you put you back on track of what you want to do. So yeah, that was, again, I think, wanted to take something positive, something that I can look up to through this journey. So my intention was to set an example for the other girls that it's possible to come back from an injury like this. It's of course a lot of hard work, and mentally you have to stay very strong. More than physical, I think it's a lot of physical thing that you go through.
Yeah, I think generally as an athlete, like everyone thinks it's a physical, it is essentially a physical activity, but there's such a mental strength that's required, even when you're playing and you're not in injury. So is anything different for you this time, this injury?
A little bit, but a lot of it is very similar. The emotions are still the same. Recently when I was reading this, the team list had come out for the Olympic qualifiers and the Asian Games. Of course, I was happy that the team's participating in the Asian Games and the Olympic qualifiers round 2. It's a huge achievement for us. But of course, not seeing your name on the list and thinking and imagining that the team's going to be playing, I didn't want to see it anymore. I just want to, come back to what I'm doing and focus on what is in my control. But emotionally, it's not easy, for sure.
I can imagine, yeah. So I obviously have been witness to your rehab process even over here in Bangalore. You've been coming regularly for the swimming. I think you've been given some swimming exercises and things like that. But you're pretty good at that, regardless of the fact that someone is on your head about it. You're doing it at your own, like with your own discipline and things like that, which I totally admire it.
That's what sports teaches you. It's all about discipline and consistency. Nothing comes easy. You have to put the work in every single day, especially when no one's watching. When you're off the radar, obviously when you're with the national team, you have to do it because you have to get ready for something. But this is the time when it's on you. It's basically you looking after yourself and what is your priority, what are your targets or aim in life. And for me, it's very clear that, again, the same kind of mindset, that I'm not going to say that it is easy or it has been easy. I know my immediate reaction when this ACL happened was that I'm giving up. I'm not playing anymore. What is the point of me doing? Because I know how hard these 9 months are going to be. So putting in that work, I thought, is it even worth it? Those are the questions that keep playing in your mind. But again, my mom, right from the first day, she was, I'm not letting you quit like this. This is not who you are. And I will make sure that you are back on the field. No matter how long you play, that is up to you. But I will make sure that you're back on the pitch and you retire how you deserve to retire. So again, a lot of emotional strength from her. And that's put me in the right frame of mind. I think that was needed. Again, that this is not going to define me. This is not who I am. And the injury is not going to define when I stop playing. It is me who is going to decide when I call it quits.
Nice. That's how it should be. I think you've been fortunate to have a solid support system with your family and obviously friends and colleagues and things. And then of course the self-discipline is that's mandatory. From what I understand of our conversations in the past, She Kicks was born out of, I think, one of your first injury period, when the rehab period. So tell us how She Kicks came about, what the intention of it is, and what is the future that you see for it.
I'm sure like you've had a similar, we've both grown up in Delhi, having that passion for football. A lot of challenges that we faced, not having any place to go and train regularly, guidance or mentorship in that sense. What's the path or what's the next step ahead?
Yeah.
Especially being a goalkeeper, there was no goalkeeper training that was happening throughout the year. No matches that we were playing. I know, there were years when we would go by then not playing a single competitive match. So those were a lot of gaps that I saw along the way. Like I said, I didn't know what I would do after I retire from playing, but I knew that my love is for the sport, and I wanted to do, even if I don't have a very luxurious life, I'm not earning a lot of money, but I'll be happy only if I stay in sports and do something constructive or contribute in the development of sports in India. And that's the reason why I decided to do sports management in UK. Even though at that time there was no really, there was no sports industry, there was no career in sports, especially for a girl.
Yeah.
But just thinking that this is what makes me happy. That's the reason why. And again, my family, coming from a military family, had a huge financial burden that they had to take up in terms of, for me to pursue these studies was not a small decision for them. But they were supportive of the idea. And of course my brother also played an important role in convincing my parents. And so when I got this injury, and the exposure that I had through West Ham and through my education, I realized what are the gaps missing in India, and from the passion that I had, I felt like this is the gap that I want to fulfill. Creating a platform where the girls who are passionate, interested in football, can go and train in a safe environment, professional environment throughout the year. They have a team or a competition to regularly play and improve and really test themselves, because there's no point of training if you don't have competitions. And also the other part of it is also, over these years I realized the personality that I've developed and how I've evolved. A lot of credit goes to playing sports. And a sport like football, which is both mentally and physically demanding. It puts you in situations and tests you in ways where you feel like you don't have a chance, but you have to come out of it and move on and still play. And especially being a goalkeeper, where you concede once, but you have the entire game to still play. How do you move on from that in seconds, because you can't dwell over it for long. So those were things that I felt like sports and football has shaped my personality. It's made me stronger, wiser, and gave me the courage to do a lot of things in my life, also pursue this as a career. So, and I wanted more and more girls to experience this, build that personality, especially in India, where there are so many challenges that they face from the society.
It's quite conservative,
and not being able to take your own decisions. You have to think, you have to listen to your parents, you have to listen to so many other things. So I felt like introducing them and giving them this exposure to sports, and especially football, can help them build those life skills that can be used in any career that they choose later on in life, if it's not football. So the two intentions with She Cakes. The first was to increase participation, take football to as many girls as possible, but also create an ecosystem and a pathway for them, for the talented ones or who are really passionate about the game. They can take their career ahead and have a career in football.
Yes. Okay, so She Cakes is of course a passion project. You told us what it's about, the intention. What is the vision that you have for it, and what is the age of a girl who can actually look at joining?
The vision has always been to take this platform across India, to be involved and make a difference in as many lives as we can for girls. Like I said, the idea is as many girls as we can approach and we get in touch and get them involved in football. That would be ideal. But also create a professional club. We are now a registered club, so I want to take that. Hopefully in the coming years you will see She Cakes playing in IWL. Make a professional club out of it. I don't see women's football as just a foundation run activity or something that is for a charitable cause. I do see a business also in it, and that's the reason why I have the club also registered and I have the foundation running to work on the community aspect of it.
Awesome. If I'm not wrong, She Kicks FC participated in the Delhi League,
Yes.
no? This last
Yeah,
season.
last season they participated. This year as well, they'll be participating. And the best thing is that I want our own girls to be playing, not just get girls from outside and play for the club. The idea is to provide a proper structure, proper professional environment, like I mentioned, for them to excel and then play for the club and hopefully play for the national team one day.
Yeah, I think it's possible, man. Right person to do it as well, I think.
Okay.
Finally,
Yes.
okay, so there are just a handful of female footballers in India that I think people know about. You are definitely up there. It's also because you have a presence off the field as well, which extends to your social media presence. It extends to, again, you've been a presenter,
Yeah.
a commentator, so you're sort of out there,
Yeah.
right? And I think that is important because from experience we know that there's not enough news about women's football,
Yeah.
even at an international level. It's just not covered. Now, of course, the international football for women is growing and we have Women's World Cup going on right now. But in general, we're not like the female footballers are not celebrated as personalities or as celebrities, as despite the hard work that's put in. So you, of course, are up there because you have put yourself out there beyond the athlete that you are. And I want to understand what your take is on social media, the power of social media, and how did your TV gigs and stuff come about, and how do you feel about it?
I feel like social media is extremely important. You have to put yourself out there because one of the main things here in India, why women's football has taken so long to grow, is also because we didn't have role models growing up. We didn't have someone looking, who we could look up to, and not just for the young kids, but also for parents to see, yes, you can have a career, you can make a career out of it. It is not just a hobby; it can be seen as a career option. In that sense, I feel, and that's how I like to use my social media to show what's possible. That is the reason why I'm so active on social media, and the reason why I've got into a lot of broadcasting gigs, because it gives me that exposure to for general public to see a female figure in this sport as an expert is extremely important for me. That obviously the experience that I have, but also do justice to it. Not just because I'm a girl, I take it for granted that yes, I'm getting this opportunity. I am an expert in this field. That is why I've got that opportunity. And of course, no one had done this before me. So obviously it was something that I wasn't very sure. But then again, I thought this will give me the exposure that is needed. Put women's football in front. Bring light and shed light to what's happening in women's football to the general public who's not aware of it. And these kind of platforms that gives you access to a wider audience is extremely important. That's why I encourage a lot of my other players also to start doing commentary in their regional language if they're not comfortable with Hindi or English. Regional languages are also coming up in terms of commentary, so why not get into it? Put your voice out there, put your name out there. That is what is needed. You want to have role models. See, 1 or 2 role models are not enough. You want to have role models in different states for their own region, for people from regions where they are coming from. It's extremely important, and that's what I try to encourage more girls to do it. Hopefully with time that will happen more. But I'm glad to be leading the path, and of course grateful that I got the opportunity. But I'm always open to these kind of things because I feel it's extremely important, both social media and whatever ways you can interact with more public, and in whatever means you can spread awareness about the game. That's what is needed in India right now.
I agree. So basically just showing that there are possibilities for female athletes, and a lot of it is in our hands as well to build a personality.
And especially if you've played for so many years, you've naturally become an expert in that field, right? So why not share that experience, your thinking with the other people, and really show that women footballers are very smart and they have a lot of potential. We face so many challenges as women in sport. So why not take up another challenge and conquer it?
Break the barriers. Well done, man. Okay, so I believe Alex Scott is someone that you
Yes.
look up to. She is an English player, an ex-English team player,
Yeah.
and now also a presenter. And I think she's also part of the Women's World Cup expert panel and things like that.
She's part of everything.
Yeah. So that's someone that you look up to,
Yes.
right? And I think the way that you said that you want more people to get to know about you, there's a personality that, that you want people to know that there's a
Yeah.
female footballer, and that's the purpose of your social media. In reverse, people also at this stage, because of the power of social media, I feel people and celebrities and all these personalities are more accessible, they're more tangible.
Yeah.
So it feels like these perhaps these dreams are more doable because these people are more accessible and you can actually see their lives a little bit more. I think the beauty of you, and I know I'm saying this from a biased opinion because I've sort of seen your journey, I've been a friend and everything, but honestly, I think anyone who knows women's football in India, there are just a handful of people that they'd be able to name. You're definitely top of the most, and that's really because of the way that you've done things off the field as well. Of course, on the field is, it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
But off the field as well. And I think that's something I also want to encourage in the female athletes that we have in India, because they tend to be camera shy, they tend to be, steer away from it or have a judgment towards social media.
Yeah.
I feel like it is powerful. It's what
It
we
is.
need right now, because no one's speaking enough about us and our journey. So why not do it ourselves?
And there's so many incredible stories. Even with the national team players, I keep saying it. Initially, I set up the social media pages for a lot of my national team players,
Right.
telling them what to post, what captions to put, writing captions for them, and all of that. But glad that it's slowly become
Picking
a
up.
habit
Yeah,
now
yeah.
for a few of them.
Yeah.
But there's still so much to be done. I know from personal interactions their journey, the kind of background they come from, the kind of challenges they've faced.
Super inspiring,
and
no?
that is not being shared, and I feel like you've overcome so much more than what you put out there.
Yeah.
It is and it's so inspirational, because you don't know, even if you can influence one person, it's a lot of things. It means a lot. At least to me, it means a lot if I can influence and if I can inspire one person. I've done my job. That's what I want. Even if one person gets out there and challenges themselves, that's what you need. And that's why I keep hoping and keep telling them, just share, just whatever platform you get. Even if you get a chance to speak to your local, in your local region, if you get a chance to speak to the youngsters, go ahead, share your story,
go back to your school and speak to them.
We need more role models, and inspire them. Even if they don't get into football, they can, those kind of challenges are in every career option, every field. So maybe it'll help them come past those challenges in their own career path. So very important to use social media and every platform that you get.
Yeah, you said it perfectly. I think I'm going to end over there. A lot of takeaways from today. Thanks, Adi, for giving us your time. I could
Thanks
see the
for coming
passion.
to our podcast.
Thanks for hosting me, Adi. But honestly, I could see the passion while you're talking about it. And you're literally tearing up in bits as well. I can see that. And you're not an emotional person, so I know that it means a lot.
Trying to hold back.
Yeah, I know that it means a
Until it
lot.
cuts.
But yeah, great to have you here. Literally the perfect person to have our second episode with. And yeah, I can't wait to see the way that you sort of break barriers beyond this now.
Yeah,
like
man,
the
I
rest of your
hope through
career.
this podcast we get more followers on of women's football. We have some very exciting tournaments coming up and a very bright future.
Yes.
Hopefully we can make it to the World Cup. We missed narrowly if it wasn't for Corona.
Shit, man. That was so unfortunate.
Yeah, but I'm sure we'll see that very soon.
For sure. Thanks, Adi. Give me a hug.
Cheers, man.
We're gonna finish. Okay.
Oh.